Now let's talk about how Visual KPI works and who uses it, what makes it unique, and the other types of software that you might compare it to or that you might need to understand how it fits together with. So to start, let's give a quick overview of Visual KPI. You may have seen this before in other courses, but what's good refresher here. So just in one single slide here, Visual KPI reads from as many data sources as you want, all kinds of data sources, can connect to just about anything and read that data. And read is the important word because we're not moving that data into a new big thing that you have to manage and maintain. So leave all the data where it makes sense. Doesn't matter how many sources or different types, and then put it to use. And part of putting it to use and making it useful is giving it context, giving it meaning, making it obvious, giving it color and status, and keeping it real time in nature. So that involves decorating that data with all kinds of important things. How it's organized, how you would navigate it, turning regular data into KPIs so they have status and color and meaning by adding targets or limit, alerting on that data, determining who owns it, where it's located, is it static or is it moving, and custom attributes, because every industry and every customer describes and talks about and works with their data and their assets in different ways, and they like to describe it and they like to use that. And the system uses that information, and also it's there for the end users. We'll show you that in detail in this course. So once you have data and you have some form of decoration of that data or enough information to give it meaning, then you have a fully running Visual KPI system. That means that most of the visualizations are already running if you've even defined just a handful of KPIs. In the navigation, the performance is automatically rolled up at every level without you building anything. It already runs on any device. It doesn't matter what screen size, whether it's your phone or on a big screen on the wall or anything in between. Now, once you have this fully running Visual KPI system, you can take it further in a few ways. First is through personalized drag and drop dashboards. You can have as many of those as you want. They can be locked down, they can be hidden or secured away, etc. We'll go through that in detail. There's also additional visualization types. There's either ad hoc visualizations done by the end user right in the browser. There is managed visualizations done by the administrator that are made available to whoever you want or everyone. And then there's embedded content as well, even embedding other people's applications or other content or you name it. We'll show that also as well. The third way you can take it further is through security. You have something called object level security, which means right down to the individual object in the system, you can determine who does or doesn't have access to it. And therefore, if you and I were to log into the exact same page, same address in our web browser, but you had more rights than I did, you might see more information on that page. So very important concept there. And lastly, because we are operations software, notifications are critical. Basically, it's our belief that the software should be smart enough to tell the users when to pay attention and where in the software it might need their attention. That goes beyond alerts, because the user experience itself, if we've done our job right, should tell you where problems are happening and guide you right to that. You shouldn't be required to poke around in the software and find something and then afterwards see if it's a problem. It should tell you where your problems are and guide you right to them. So that's a quick overview of what the software does. Again, we'll go into a lot more detail as we continue along. So next, let's talk about who uses it. We have been doing this for quite a long time. We have customers in a lot of different industries, but they all have a few things in common. One, they're all operationally driven companies where keeping things moving and keeping things well maintained is critical. Also, a lot of our customers have something in common, which is mistakes that are made, especially operationally, are very expensive or sometimes even dangerous. So oil refining or pipelines or power generation or telecommunications or mining, all these things have critical things, even critical infrastructure. Very important to keep those going, to make sure they're well maintained, and to eliminate mistakes, again, because it's very expensive. So the other things that we run into on a regular basis are high frequency data. Sometimes people monitor things or collect data on them hundreds of times per second or even more. And you need a system that's comfortable with that. And that's something that's normal for us. Or staggering amounts of metrics, or storing that data for extremely long periods of time. So we've run into oil refineries where they're tracking hundreds of thousands of metrics, tracking them hundreds of times per second, and storing that data for decades. And so in Visual KPI, the ability to see how it's going right now and to see how it was going 15 years ago in a 3-second window is all something that you can do. So these are similar problems. Now, it doesn't have to be high frequency data, but the real-time nature we do, it matters that you care about knowing when things happen, when they happen. Even if they only change once a year, if you want to know right when it happened and not wait for some report or some slow-moving thing to tell you about it after you can do something about it, then this is the right kind of software. So lastly in this section, let's talk about why people choose it. And this also covers some of the things that makes it unique. So first of all, the real-time nature of what we do makes it unique. There's no shortage of great reporting tools or business intelligence tools, but they're not real-time in nature. Most of them don't deal with data as it's changing or moving. So the second major thing that really causes a lot of people to buy our software or to get great value from it is that ability to aggregate multiple data sources on the fly without moving the data. Something that we specialize in, it's something that we've done for a very long time and are particularly good at. The third thing is the KPI focus that we have in our software. Again, lots of great software out there and lots of different even classes of software, but adding color and status and meaning to everything you do, especially when it's live and changing, means you can put it in the hands of a lot more people. They don't need deep training. They don't need the ability or they don't need to have a deep understanding of where the data came from. You know, one of the tests we do is, can one of my, young children come in and look at my screen and tell me where something's wrong? And if they can identify that, then just about anybody can. So really this gives reach to data that it otherwise didn't have. There's a lot of great engineering tools, but usually everyone around the core group that runs those tools has to go ask that team how things are going or wait for a report. In this case, you can give the power of that real-time information all the way to C-level people, to field staff or maintenance or anybody else that you want to. Very powerful. There's a few other core things that we do, but one of the main ones I like to highlight is just the user experience itself. So beyond just KPIs, making sure that you have a great user experience matters. It matters to a lot of people, and I think a lot of software companies underestimate that. So you'll see as we go through that we care where things go, we care what they look like, we care that the CEO of your company would be proud to hold this in their hands or put it up on a screen on the wall in the lobby. So it matters in that case. So with that, let's move along to the next section of the course and start to dive into the details.